in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now live.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.com. wsfd-lp.org.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:01. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am joined this very chilly morning by Pete Coles, producer of the show. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning. Looks like I'm getting out just in time.
As I came into, I had forgotten about that, and I came in today, and I went, wait a minute, I was getting myself all ready, and I went, wait, Pete is heading down to sunny skies of Florida soon, right?
Not all that sunny and probably not all that warm.
Well, warmer than it is here, because
True.
tomorrow it's going to be like 6 below, and the wind chill's going to make it feel colder.
When I'm going to the airport, yes.
Yes.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, you're, okay, so it's tonight.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Not a lot of sleep because I got to get up around 2.
Okay.
I'm going to be at the airport around, the flight's at 5:30, so.
Oh, dear, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to be there early.
You have to be there very early, but the airport
take a
should
nap.
be. Yep, airport should be fairly empty, and
No, it's not.
No, really?
Because Southwest schedules like a whole bunch of flights between 5:30 and 6.
Well, I know, like by the time you get into the 6:30ish into 7 flights, I know things are really heating up. But really, I don't think I've taken 6 a.m. flights, but I've never taken a 5:30.
There's at least 3 that I know of.
Okay.
Right off the bat.
Okay.
But I signed up for TSA pre-check, so
Yeah,
I
you're gonna sail right
don't
through
have to take
there,
off my
buddy.
shoes anymore.
Nope.
It's wonderful.
Boom.
My
I know.
girlfriend, on the other hand, does not, so I have to wait for her on the other end. But that's fine. I fly enough where it was worth it to me.
Well,
It's $85 for 5 years.
I know, and you know what? Here's the thing, Pete. The funny thing is Gary has it, and I was in the process of getting it, and then COVID hit, and I wasn't going anywhere anyway. So I haven't finished the process. Now I got to restart it because you only have, once you submit your application, you have to do it within a certain time frame. You have to go down and get the picture and all that stuff.
Right.
But I've been lucky. There have been times when I've gotten pre-check on the, it's the random one, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if they do that anymore because I haven't seen that.
Okay.
I used to get that every so often because I'd fly so much.
I did too.
Wow.
I actually got it quite a bit. So I got kind of, cocky about having to spend the $85, but
I thought it was worth it for me.
oh, you know what? It absolutely, for anybody who does any amount of flying.
If you fly more than twice a year.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I don't fly all that, or I hadn't flown all that much, but it was worth it. I probably flew maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and I had felt like, yeah, this is worth it.
Yep.
Once you stand in those lines forever, and the whole shoe thing, it's such a pain.
Now that I've gained some weight too, it's not as easy to put your shoes
tough.
back on.
Yeah, I know. I got to the point where I was choosing my outfits around which shoes are just easy to slip on and off when I get into the line, because I don't want to have to untie them and do all that stuff.
Right, and then the other wrinkle is now there's 2 meetings tomorrow night. Thankfully, Kenny's going up to my house to cover them.
Oh, thank you, Kenny.
But the timing was bad because I have a rocket launch at 6:11 tomorrow night.
Oh dear.
And the meetings were at 6:30. So now to Florida, I'd have to lug 2 machines, two laptops,
Yeah.
and everything else. And then I'm going to be in a park, which God knows if the Wi-Fi is working or if I
Right.
have whatever.
Right.
I know it's not good enough to do 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Kenny, I'll pay out of my own pocket if I have to.
Poor Ken. So what are the meetings tomorrow night, Pete?
City Council, Natural Resources, and Zoning, Planning, and Development.
So city council, is that what's
2
tomorrow night?
subcommittee meetings. It's an off night
subcommittee.
for them.
Okay, good. That's what I was going to say. I'm like, wait a minute. This is 4th week of the month,
Which
so why
I thought
city
I'd be
council?
clear.
Right, exactly.
or relatively clear.
Yep.
But yeah, then others too. So now I have to leave I can't bring my laptop with me because I need to leave that set up for Kenny so he can do
Right.
2 simultaneous meetings in my office at home.
Yep.
And he already has a key to my house because he's a backup in case something happens to
Yep.
me or something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, so yeah,
But you know what?
I can't get away from this.
Yeah.
I'm going to have interviews hopefully next week to have some part-timers start to cover some of these meetings, but it's
Yeah.
just like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's tough. Well, thank you to Kenny for, I just feel like Kenny's always jumping in, helping out with something.
He is.
And
I owe him.
we certainly appreciate that.
I
So
told him I owe him at least one dinner when we're away in Virginia in mid-February.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, no doubt. No doubt. Do you guys have now when you go, because you've stayed in that area before, right, Pete?
Yes.
So do you have a favorite restaurant down there that you guys like to go to?
There's a couple that I like,
Okay.
but I'm just north. I'm about 15, 20 minutes north of where I normally am, the area that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a couple places up there, but it's nice to go exploring in
That's
that
true.
area too.
Yep, yep.
But there's a great breakfast spot called Jan's in Jensen Beach that I don't think I took Christy to, and they're just outstanding. So
Good.
we may have to stop in there.
Absolutely. So the Virginia trip when is that?
That we're leaving the 16th of February, and we're
February.
coming back the 22nd. So I think
Okay.
that might affect one of your Wednesdays.
It will, because I'm thinking the 16th is on a Wednesday, because I know Valentine's Day is on a Monday this year.
I'm trying to make it so that I only affect one show per person.
Okay.
But originally we were going to go to Florida, but all those launches in Florida got moved.
Mm-hmm.
And then the schedule now worked out where we have a launch tomorrow,
Okay.
right at sunset, which might be spectacular.
Yeah.
And then we have a launch on the 29th, which is what, Saturday? No. Yes, Saturday.
Yes, Saturday. That's correct.
And that's at midday at like 3 o'clock. So we may drive up for that one, we may not. But
So Pete, when will you? I mean, you're leaving at 5:30 in the morning. Is it a nonstop flight?
no.
No. Okay.
We're going to go through Baltimore. We'll be in around
Okay.
11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Well, that still gives you, almost the whole day.
And we're flying into West Palm. So that's
Nice.
an hour south of where we're going to stay.
Okay.
And then the Space Coast is about an hour and a half north. So
Okay.
it's a good spot.
Yeah. That sounds like a great spot.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. And the weather supposed to be clear? I mean, not necessarily
No,
hot, but
mid 70s the first, or low
Well, that'd be
70s the first
awesome.
2 days, but showery,
Okay.
and then dropping into the 50s the final 2 days. So,
Okay.
but clear.
Well, again, 50s compared to what I think we are definitely heading in for some weather. I mean, between cold and we don't know what's going on with the nor'easter, whether that's going to go east of us or hit us, or I don't know. They were still undecided 2 nights ago.
Well, they're not going to be able to lock it until about 24 hours before
Right,
for a storm like
right.
that.
Yep.
Mainly because the track of the storm is going to affect how much snow you get. Snow, rain, sleet, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Something's coming.
It's going to be interesting.
And before that, it's going to be really cold. I thought that today was going to be the super cold and windy day.
No, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. It's 17 degrees out there. So, folks, it's not, dress the kids up when they go to school today, please.
Tomorrow it's going to be
Jackets,
closer
hats,
to
and so forth.
0.
Yeah. So, for my lunch people, we tell them when it's really cold like that and really windy, we give them a 15-minute window. So come between 11 and 11:15, because that's as much as we're standing out there, and you have to have exact change. I always say to them, it's like, I am not counting dollar bills when it's 6 below 0. If you hand me a 20 for one meal, that's how much your meal cost for that day. So so everybody go to the bank today. Make sure you have your singles or your fives or whatever you need, because tomorrow you got 15 minutes and exact change. That's it. That's all we can do.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. But you know what, Pete? It's really true. I'll have somebody who will hand me like a $20 bill for a $3 meal, and I'm, sitting out, and especially when it's windy too. It's, I got gloves on, and the wind's blowing. I'm trying not to lose money in the parking lot. So I have some people that are really wonderful. They put it in an envelope, they seal it, they put their name on it, and it's beautiful. So just when it's really, really cold, we don't, on the other days when it's a beautiful day, I don't mind standing out there counting change. But all right, we have to do this first birthday. Pete, you were talking about rockets and so forth, which kind of brings up the whole flying thing. This isn't exactly about a rocket, but I thought this was really interesting. It is January 26th, and today is the birthday of Bessie Coleman. She was an aviator and was way ahead of her time. She was born on this date in 1892 in Atlanta, Texas. Not Atlanta, Georgia, but Atlanta, Texas, okay? She was an American aviator and the first black woman to earn a pilot's license. How cool is that?
Very cool.
In 1915, at 23 years old, Bessie Coleman moved to Chicago where she lived with her brothers. There she began listening to and reading stories about World War I pilots, which sparked her interest in aviation. In 1921, a time of both gender and racial discrimination, Bessie Coleman broke barriers and became the world's first black woman to earn a pilot's license. But wait until you hear how she did this. Because flying schools in the United States denied her entry, she took it upon herself to learn French, and she moved to France to achieve her goal.
That's a dedicated woman right
You
there.
got that. I mean, you know what? Some of these people in history are just, they're not very well known, but how amazing. After only 7 months, Bessie Coleman earned her license from France's well-known Caudron Brothers School of Aviation. Though she wanted to start a flying school for African Americans when she returned to the United States, she ended up specializing in stunt flying and parachuting and earned a living barnstorming and performing aerial tricks. In 1922, she became the first African American woman in America to make a public flight. On April 30th, 1926, Bessie Coleman was tragically killed at only 34 years old when an accident during a rehearsal for an aerial show sent her plummeting to her death. Coleman remains a pioneer of women in the field of aviation. So happy birthday to Bessie Coleman, aviator, first black woman to earn a pilot's license. I thought that was really, really
Very cool, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that really cool? And I want to do one more birthday before the first break. So I recognize this name right away because I'm married to Dr. Gorman, and this name has been a household name in my in our home for many years. It is the birthday of the late Hans Selye. And Hans Selye was an endocrinologist, and Dr. Gorman has talked about him several times when he's appeared on this show. He was born January 26, 1907, in Austria-Hungary, which I did not realize that. Of course, I'm Hungarian, so that's a really big deal. I had to point that out to Gary the other night when I was doing my my famous birthdays. So Hans Hugo Bruno Selye was one of the most influential endocrinologists and is known for his research on the effects of stress on the human body. And we've talked about stress. Dr. Gorman has talked about stress on the show before, and distress, eustress and distress. Those were terms that Hans Selye developed. He attended the German University of Prague and received his doctorate in 1931 in organic chemistry. That same year, he was awarded a Rockefeller Fellowship at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, and he studied for another year at McGill University in Montreal before becoming a lecturer in biochemistry there the following year. Now, I have to tell you, when Gary and I many years ago went up to Montreal for a family vacation, and we were staying at a hotel that was not far from McGill University. And there are a lot of famous researchers and physicians that have, that studied at McGill. So, of course, we had to go take our own little tour of McGill because, for one thing, Hans Selye was up there, had studied up there.
Yep.
In 1935, Selye started to work on his theory regarding the influence of stress on a person's capacity to handle the pressures of injury and disease. His extensive research on the subject led him to the conclusion that physiological stress could cause damage to the body's endocrine system. Selye termed his collection of symptoms the, quote, general adaptation syndrome. He earned worldwide acclaim for his extraordinary contributions, and he was named the Einstein of medicine. Hans Selye defined stress in 1936 in his first scientific paper. He wrote over 1,700 scholarly papers and 39 books about stress. His two major books, The Stress of Life and Stress Without Distress, were bestsellers and sold millions of copies worldwide. So, of course, I had to bring in props today because naturally, you can see how worn these editions are. The Stress of Life and Stress Without Distress, both by Hans Selye. I mean, as Gary said, when I said to him, Gary, I need the Selye books, and he goes like, Tina, they're so dog-eared. I mean, they're like literally falling apart because in our house they've been read so many times. But Celia was the one who really talked a lot about, we use that all the time. I'm stressed out, things are really, I was just talking to somebody the other day who was having all kinds of physical problems. And this was just a lay person who said, and we all know, how much stress influences our physical well-being. So it's, now it's so common, but back in the early 1930s, this was new. This was a completely new concept. Nobody was, if you had a physical problem, it's because, you fell down, you got hurt, or, there was a physiological reason. Nobody was looking at stress and what else was going on in your life, the emotional impact and so forth. So happy birthday to Hans Selye. All right, it is 6:16. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. So I found this great song. I wanted to do a song in honor of the birthday of Bessie Coleman, first African-American woman to earn a pilot's license and fly in the United States. So I found the song by Gary Allan, and it's called Watching Airplanes. We'll be back.
Sitting out here on the hood of this truck, looking up at a caramel-colored sunset sky. Checking my watch, doing the math in my head, counting backwards to when you said goodbye. Well, those runway lights are getting brighter. I'm just sitting out here watching airplanes take off and fly. Trying to figure out which one you might be on and why you don't love me anymore. Right now I'm sitting out here watching airplanes. I would've lied, could've cried, should've tried harder, done anything to make you stay. I wonder what you'd do if you looked out your window and saw me running down the runway, just like I was crazy. But that fence is too high, so am I. So I'm just sitting out here watching airplanes take off and fly. Trying to figure out which one you might be on and why you don't love me anymore. By now I know you're 30,000 feet above me, but a million miles away, a million miles away. By now I know I'd act like you don't love me. But I'm just sitting out here watching airplanes take off and fly. I'm just sitting out here watching airplanes take off and fly. Trying to figure out which one you might be on and why you don't love me anymore. Yeah, I'm just sitting out here watching airplanes go by, by, by. I'm just
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldState.bncollege.com.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:21. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So, Pete, we haven't really talked about the weekend, and I know that you enjoy a good football game. I would have to say this past weekend was probably the greatest weekend for playoff football in the history of the NFL. That is my personal opinion. 4 games.
I thought they were all super exciting. Some people were
Everyone down to the wire. Unbelievable.
See, some people I didn't like them because they were like, "Oh, well, the rules suck," and I'm like, yeah, "They may, but they're the rules right now."
They are the rule. Well, I understand. Everybody's talking about the Buffalo game, which I was really rooting for Buffalo, only because I felt like they
had to play better. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? Whatever. They were every 4 games that came down to the last minute of the game.
Right.
Every one of them. That never. Usually you end up with playoff games, and you'll end up with 1 or 2 that are really good, and most that are just a blowout, one way or the other. And just like, by halftime you're going, yeah, this one's a runaway. But unbelievable games. They were so exciting to watch. So congratulations to all 8 teams. I have to say, you got down to that Buffalo Kansas City game, and I said to Gary, it was heartbreaking to see either team lose. They both did a great job. So congratulations all the way around. We have more football this weekend, of course. And I think, but I don't know this for sure, Pete, do you know if there's one game Saturday, one game Sunday?
They are both on Sunday.
They're both on Sunday. Okay. Good to know. All right. Both on Sunday. So there we are. So we have, let me see if I can get this right. I know San Fran is playing. Kansas City is playing. LA's playing. I think LA's
San
playing.
Fran, LA is one game.
Okay. San Fran. Is that? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
That's
two
the
California teams.
NFC Championship.
That's right. That's the 2 California teams.
And Kansas City plays the improbable Bengals.
That's right. That's right. It was the Bengals. So, really interesting.
The Bengals have a shot at winning it, too.
I know. Some new quarterbacks. It's, just some young quarterbacks. And my sister-in-law was texting me. See, it was really interesting because Tennessee was playing Cincinnati. Well, I have my one brother who lives in Tennessee and my other brother who lived in Cincinnati forever because he worked for Procter & Gamble. So I was texting both of them saying, all right, are you both watching the game? And my sister-in-law down in Tennessee kept saying, they're all so young. She goes, this quarterback is so young and the kicker is so young and everybody looks so young. But anyway, it was a nice rivalry between my brothers, and my brother, the chemist who worked for P&G, won out on that one. He's the Cincinnati guy.
Yep.
So, all right, we'll see what happens this weekend. All right, let's do another famous birthday on January 26th. This is another kind of interesting story. It's the birthday of the late Maria Augusta von Trapp, Austrian singer born on this date in 1905 in Vienna, Austria. So Maria von Trapp was best known for performing with the Trapp family singers in the 1930s and 1940s. Her memoir was the basis for The Sound of Music, musical, and film. Her childhood was marked by hardship. Maria von Trapp was born on a train, headed to Vienna, Austria, and was orphaned at a young age. While a student in college, she discovered religion and converted to Catholicism. She decided to devote her life to her faith, becoming a candidate for the novitiate at Nonnberg Abbey in Salzburg. In 1926, she was sent from the convent to act as a tutor for one of Baron George von Trapp's 7 children from his first marriage. She was only meant to stay for less than a year and then return to the convent to become a nun. But she became attached to the children and decided to leave the church after the Baron proposed to her. He was 25 years her senior. The pair wed in 1927, and they had 3 children together. The Von Trapp family had always been musical, even before Maria joined them. However, the Baroness saw their talents as a way to help them out of a financial crisis, as much of their money was lost in the economic upheaval of the 1930s. The family performed together throughout Europe as the Trapp Family Choir. When the Nazis took over Austria in 1938, the Von Trapps decided it was time to leave rather than live under a regime they opposed. They traveled first to Italy and then later made their way to the United States, where they had arranged a concert tour. Their early years in America were very challenging. The family had little money and they had to learn the language. They did not speak English. They changed their name to the Trapp Family Singers instead of the Trapp Family Choir, and audiences came to adore this group of charismatic performers dressed in traditional Austrian garb. In 1942, the Von Trapps bought a 660-acre farm in Stowe, Vermont. The area reminded them of Austria, and the Baroness started a summer music camp there. George Von Trapp died in 1947, so that was 5 years after they moved to Vermont. And 2 years later, Maria wrote her memoir, The Story of the Trapp Family Singers. In 1950, she opened the grounds to the public as the Trapp Family Lodge. So there's the story. Have you ever been to the Trapp Family Lodge, Pete?
No.
But
But
it's really cool.
yeah, but I just saw Herman, is it Zimmerman, the chef? The guy that's Zimmerman.
I don't know.
He's a famous chef.
Okay.
He's doing a show called Home, like a home dinner. He sits down with a family and does a
Okay.
home dinner with them.
Yeah.
And George Zimmerman? George Zimmerman. Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the dinners was with the surviving Von Trapp family
Oh, no kidding.
at their houses, not at the lodge.
Okay.
At their
Okay.
houses, which are just kind of down the street.
Yep.
But the grandkids now, the brother and the sister are running it.
Okay.
And the dad, who was one of Maria's sons,
Okay. Yep.
is still around.
Yep.
And it was a cool show talking about that family history and
Yeah.
cooking and stuff
Yep.
like that. So, and one of the sons married a girl from Asian descent. So she
Okay.
brings they said like to bring Asian flavors into the party
and the like the Bavarian and the
traditional-
Asian. Yeah, there's a combination.
So it's
very cool.
It's a really cool show. I have to give you the title
Yeah.
of it because it's on. I think it was on Discovery Plus.
Okay.
That I found.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I actually years ago when Gary's parents were alive, we used to their kids would for Christmas every year we would give them a gift of a bed and breakfast or an inn or kind of send them someplace, and it was generally somewhere in the Northeast. Usually in New England because I usually did the work of researching where we were going to send them. So one year we sent them to the Trapp Family Lodge, and Gary and I went with them. So that was the 4 of us, and it was really interesting. And there are photos everywhere. I mean, there are old photographs. I can remember going up and down the stairs of the inn that we were staying in, and just looking at all of these photographs. And it was interesting because Maria Augusta Von Trapp was interviewed, many times, of course, after The Sound of Music came out. And she was asked, how close is this? And she said, well, it was quite close. I mean, there were a lot of things, and you can hear that in the history there. She said the one thing that was really different, though, she said she felt that her character Julie Andrews kind of portrayed that as more of a goody two-shoes. She said, I was not that much of a goody two-shoes at all. Apparently, she was quite the little rebel and, not necessarily in a really, just mischievous way. So it was funny to read that about her. But anyway, it was certainly an amazing story. So happy birthday to Maria Von Trapp. It is 6:30. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. So in honor of the birthday of Hans Selye, who came up with his whole theory of stress and how stress impacts our life, we're going to listen to Billy Joel singing the song Pressure. We'll be back.
turn the tap dance into your crusade. Now here you are with your faith and your Peter Pan advice. You have no scars on your face and you cannot handle pressure. All grown up and no place to go. Psych 1, psych 2, what do you know? All your life is Channel 13, Sesame Street, what does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. Pressure! Pressure! Don't ask for help, you're all alone. Pressure! You'll have to answer to your own. Pressure! I'm sure you'll have some cosmic rationale. But here you are in the ninth, 2 men out and 3 men on nowhere to look, but inside where we all respond to pressure. Pressure. All your life is Time magazine. I read it too. What does it mean? Pressure! I'm sure you have some cosmic rationale. But here you are with your faith and your Peter Pan advice. You have no scars on your face and you cannot handle pressure. Pressure. Pressure! 1, 2, 3, 4, pressure!
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:36. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So, Pete, are you all packed and ready to
Sort
go?
of.
Or okay, sort of semi-packed.
Yeah.
How about Christy? I
believe she's all set. Yeah.
she's ready. She's
Well,
ready
I
to
mean, she's got
fly
two
out
kids.
there.
She's trying to get ready. You know,
yeah.
her daughter
know.
still has to go to school, but she's, her daughter's senior in high school. So
yeah.
the older daughter's there. She's worried about leaving them because she's never really left them
Yeah.
during a snowstorm, but Dad lives downtown, so
Okay.
he can help them out if they really get in trouble. But
Okay.
it's just,
I know.
Little parental thing, daughters.
I totally understand. I get it. I totally understand.
Yep.
All right. So today is January 26th. It is National Spouses Day. So National Spouses Day on January 26th each year celebrates the bond between two people and sets aside time for couples to show each other gratitude. Dedicated to recognizing spouses everywhere, the observance reminds us to take time for our mate. From being thankful for the fulfillment and security of a long-term relationship to the boost of morale and well-being provided by spouses, there are many reasons to celebrate. This day is a time to show your spouse that you care and appreciate all of the things that he or she does for you and the home. Life gets busy, folks, and we can often take for granted how our spouses improve our lives. Pay a heartfelt thank you or a compliment to the love of your life. Since the day is a non-gift giving day, no gifts, no cards, spend time together and reconnect, and don't forget to say I love you. If it's been a while since you have expressed appreciation to the one with whom you are married, now is your chance. Again, this day is not about giving gifts, but spending time together, enjoying each other, and appreciating each other. So happy National Spouses Day. And to my spouse, Dr. Gary Gorman, if you are listening to the show this morning, I absolutely appreciate you. Gary is my sounding board for all things Westfield Senior Center and has been for the last 16 years. Last week was I finished my 16th year. People have asked me, how long have you been there? Like, I feel like forever, but it was 16 years. My anniversary with the city was January 3rd. And so yeah, but
how many years are you?
16. I'm starting.
Wow, I'm 21.
I'm starting into my 17th year.
In March, I'll be 22.
And I went back and looked, Pete, and we have been doing this show. We started doing this show in the summer of 2014.
Correct.
I was looking for something, and I came across that. And I know you and I have talked several times about, okay, when exactly? How long have we been doing this? Yeah, 8 years, 2014. So it's been a while. Okay, just to let folks know, it is the fourth Wednesday of the month. So a couple things happen on the fourth Wednesday of the month. On my show, it means I have Joe Rouse, director of the health department, with us here in the studio.
Is he in person?
I believe that he will be in person today. I didn't hear differently, so I'm going to assume that it's in person. I can text him during the next break and just confirm that, but I think he's coming down. And of course, Harry Rock has his show after my show. Pete, do you know who Harry's guest is?
He has my
week?
boss on this morning.
Who's your boss?
Mayor Mike McCabe.
Oh, I'm thinking of that's what I was thinking of. I was like, wait a minute, Pete, isn't your boss the mayor?
Yes.
Oh,
he is.
How fun.
He'll be on via Zoom from his office.
Oh,
because he's got a busy day, and the only way he could squeeze it in was to do it that way. So.
Oh, you know what? I just have to say, here's my big shout out to your boss and my boss, Mayor Mike McCabe, who is just. We're not even a month into it, and I feel so loved and so supported by this mayor. He's just awesome.
It's funny. My first meeting with him after he assumed office, he was apologizing to me, and I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "I didn't realize you were a direct report to me," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no big deal."
Yep. Yeah. Hey, Pete, this has nothing to do with that, but it just occurred to me. Did you get the email that I sent you last night from the Department of Fire Services?
I did. I find all kinds of goodies in there.
Okay. So, you know what? My first thought was, just to explain to the viewers, so I got this email from Chief Egloff, Westfield Fire Department, Chief of the Fire Department, and we've been doing our end-of-year report for our Senior Safe Grant, so I was over there the other day. I saw Chief. Who is trying to isolate from everyone because he's going to be going away in a few weeks and he doesn't want to get sick again. So I was passing things like underneath his door. But anyway, we were chatting from afar. And he had sent me the clip from the Department of Fire Services. They're doing some public safety announcements. And before I got to the part from them saying, you can give this to your local cable access and all this other stuff, I'm reading this, just the beginning of what it was all about. And I said, we got to get this on. I got to send this to Pete. That was like my first thought. So I CC'd Chief on it because I thought next time, feel free to send it to me.
Yeah,
but send it to Pete. get this stuff out there.
Yeah, there's something like this.
Perfect.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Look around your home. So many things of value, treasured memories, and irreplaceable items. So this winter, as you keep warm, keep safe, Get a metal container for fireplace ashes. Have the furnace checked and the chimney cleaned. Test carbon monoxide and smoke alarms, and be sure to give space heaters space. To learn more, go to mass.gov/keepwarmkeepsafe, because so many things can't be replaced.
Love it. Love it. Thank you.
Nice
Thanks, Pete.
nice little tidbits.
It is. It really is. And all those visuals, those reminders for us.
Well, and there's also
perfect.
there's graphics for that I'm going to put up on the bulletin board and things
Love
like
it.
that. So
That's great. Thank
there's
you
all kinds
so
of little,
much, Pete.
little thingies.
Well, I had gotten, it was really interesting. Every year we get a grant through the fire department. So I write my part of the grant, and Ben Warren writes his as the fire prevention officer. So theirs is on the student safe program, and mine, of course, is on the senior safe program. And every year in January, we have to do an end of the year report for the last year. So I got an email from the person who's in charge of the senior safe program at the Department of Fire Services. And he had sent me something. There was a technicality of something that he needed. But in the body of the email, he said, Tina, we always love to get your end-of-year reports because of all the great things that you're doing in Westfield. I send them like all the articles that were in the Westfield News that got published and, all of this stuff that we do. Like they get a regular package from me with all of this stuff in print. And they just love that because it's, it's trying to just get the word out there. And that's the whole idea. So thank you for that, Pete. All right, let's do a couple more birthdays before we take our next break. Well, we'll probably only have time for one because this one's long. Today's the birthday of the late Paul Newman, actor, race car driver, and charity food company founder. Paul Newman was born on this date in 1925 in Cleveland, Ohio. He turned to acting after getting kicked off the football team in college. He went to Kenyon University, and that's in Ohio, which was a university that a niece of mine had applied to, so I was kind of familiar with Kenyon. In 1958, he starred as Brick in the film version of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof opposite Elizabeth Taylor. He gave a strong performance as a hard-drinking former athlete and disinterested husband who struggles against pressure from his wife and his overpowering father, who I believe was played by Burl Ives. Once dismissed as just another handsome face, Paul Newman showed that he could handle the challenges of such a complex character. He was nominated for his first Academy Award for that role. In The Hustler in 1961, Newman played Fast Eddie, a slick, small-time pool shark who takes on the legendary Minnesota Fats, who was played by Jackie Gleason. For his work on the film, Newman received his second Academy Award nomination. He played an arrogant, unprincipled cowboy in HUD in 1963 and earned his third Academy Award nomination. In Cool Hand Luke in 1967, Paul Newman played a rebellious inmate at a southern prison, leading to his fourth Academy Award nomination. In 1969, while working on the car racing film Winning, Newman went to a professional driving program as part of his preparation for the role. He discovered that he loved racing, and he started devoting time to the sport. In his next two films, he starred alongside Robert Redford in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That one was in 1969. And then The Sting in 1973. Both were box office smash hits. Absence of Malice in 1981 and The Verdict in 1982 earned Newman more Academy Award nominations. Notice lots of nominations here. While he was widely considered one of the finest actors of his time, Newman had never won an Academy Award. This error was corrected in 1985 when Newman received an honorary award for his contributions to film. After scoring his first racing victory at a Connecticut track in 1972.
Yeah, Lime Rock Park.
Yeah. Paul Newman made the leap to become a professional racer. In 1995, he served as part of the winning team at the Rolex 24 at Daytona, and with his victory, Newman became the oldest driver to win this 24-hour-long race. He started his own food company in the 1980s. The profits and royalties are used for educational and charitable purposes. Since the inception of Newman's Own, over $250 million has been donated to thousands of charities worldwide. So happy birthday. He died at the age of 83 back in 2008. So happy birthday
And he's still
to the late Paul Newman.
as part of his legacy, I guess.
Okay.
Newman Haas Racing still exists.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that was really interesting. And that film that where he really got involved and interested in car racing, the film was kind of a, it wasn't any kind of a big smash success or anything like that, but it was just kind of interesting that that's the way that happened. So, okay, let's take a break because it is break time. It is 6:46. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses on WCPC cable channel 15. And in honor of the birthday of Maria von Trapp, we're going to listen to the song Maria from The Sound of Music. We'll be back.
She climbs a tree and scrapes her knee. Her dress has got a tear. She waltzes on her way to mass and whistles on the stair. And underneath her wimple, she has curls in her hair. I've even heard her singing in the abbey. She's always late for chapel, but her penitence is real. She's always late for everything, except for every meal. I hate to have to say it, but I very firmly feel Maria's not an asset to the abbey. I'd like to say a word in her behalf. Maria makes me laugh. How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you catch a cloud and pin it down? How do you find a word that means Maria? A flibbity-gibbet, a will-o'-the-wisp, a clown. Many a thing you know you'd like to tell her. Many a thing she ought to understand. But how do you make her stay and listen to all you say? How do you keep a wave upon the sand? Oh, how do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you hold a moonbeam in your hand? When I'm with her, I'm confused, out of focus and bemused, and I never know exactly where I am.
Unpredictable as weather.
She's as flighty as a feather. She's a darling. She's a demon. She's a lamb. She'll outpester any pest, drive a hornet from its nest.
She can throw a whirling dervish out of world.
She is gentle, she is wild. She's a riddle, she's a child.
She's a headache, she's an angel.
She's a girl. How do you solve the problem like Maria? How do you catch a cloud and pin it down? How do you find a word that means Maria? A flibbity-gibbet, a will-o'-the-wisp, a clown. Many a thing you know you'd like to tell her. Many a thing she ought to understand. But how do you make her stay and listen to all you say? How do you keep a wave upon the sand? Oh, how do you solve a problem like Maria?
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield. Underwriting for Community Radio on WSKB is brought to you in part by Rockies. Over 30 convenient locations throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Florida. One of the nation's largest ACE dealers. Expertise and great product selection in paint, hardware, lawn and garden. That's Rockies. Rock solid service since 1926. On the web at rockies.com.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for ArtsBeat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England. Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Whoops, there it is. Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:51. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses on WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host on this chilly Wednesday morning, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles, who's looking forward to warmer weather and, well, I was going to say bluer skies, but I'm not so sure about that, where you're going, but...
Well, I'll take what I can get.
Exactly. Take some warmth, Pete. And just a change of atmosphere would be so nice.
Right.
All right. We have a few more birthdays, one that's really special to me, but we'll do the famous ones and then the famous locally ones. How's that? So it is the birthday of Andrew Ridgeley, singer, songwriter, and guitarist, born on this date in 1963 in Windlesham, England. He's 59 years old today. So one more year, Andrew, and you can join the Westfield Senior Center. After years of playing in various music groups, George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley formed the duo Wham! In 1981. Michael was lead vocalist and primary songwriter and played keyboards, while Ridgeley played guitar and performed backing vocals. They approached various record labels with a homemade demo tape, which took 10 minutes to record in Ridgeley's living room, and signed with Innervision Records. After one album, the duo signed with Epic Records. Wham! Enjoyed worldwide success from 1982 to 1986, selling more than 35 million records worldwide. They made their U.S. debut on Dick Clark's American Bandstand, becoming the only 1980s British act to have 3 number-1 singles on both the UK and US charts. Hits include Careless Whisper, Wake Me Up Before You Go, and Everything She Wants. Since 1982, Ridgeley has reportedly amassed millions from sales and royalties of records. Much of his income comes from the 1984 single Careless Whisper, which sold 6 million copies worldwide. As of 2012, the song was the 34th best-selling single of all time in the United Kingdom, having sold over 1.3 million copies. So happy 59th birthday to Andrew Ridgeley from Wham! It is also the birthday of Ellen DeGeneres, comedian, actress, talk show host, born on this date in 1958 in New Orleans. She is 64 years old today. Ellen DeGeneres hit it big as a stand-up comedian before starring on her own sitcom, Ellen. In 1997, she came out as gay and became a staunch advocate of LGBTQ rights. She has been the host of her own award-winning talk show, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, since 2003, and married girlfriend Portia de Rossi in 2008. Ellen DeGeneres got her big debut in 1986, when acting on a tip from Jay Leno, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson sent a booking agent to catch her act at the Improv in Hollywood. As a result of that engagement, Ellen DeGeneres appeared on The Tonight Show and earned the distinction of being the only female comic to be invited by Johnny Carson to sit on the famed couch during her first visit. DeGeneres then began making regular appearances on the talk show circuit, including performances on The Late Show with David Letterman, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, The Oprah Winfrey Show, Larry King Live, and Good Morning America. Her wit won over audiences, and DeGeneres finally found success as an actress with her own primetime sitcom, the self-titled television series Ellen. The show faced strong criticism when, in April of 1997, DeGeneres' character became the first lead in sitcom history to openly acknowledge her homosexuality on air. God, does that seem like a long time ago and many sitcoms ago? Several episodes following her reveal had gay themes, and throughout the remainder of the season, DeGeneres and ABC executives faced a storm of criticism. Despite a supportive audience, an Emmy Award for the coming out episode, and the show's groundbreaking place in television history, Ellen was canceled the following year in 1998. But the show also received rounds of applause from gay-friendly activists. In 2003, Ellen DeGeneres became a big hit with daytime viewers with her self-titled talk show, Ellen. Since its inception, the show has won a slew of awards, including 64 Daytime Emmys for a daytime talk show. In May of 2021, Ellen DeGeneres announced that she'll be ending her talk show this year in 2022. So, happy 64th birthday to Ellen DeGeneres. All right, we have one more birthday. This is a local birthday. Well, it's not really a birthday. This is a in memory of. So we lost one of our own at the senior center this past week. Louise Marie Fleming passed away, and Louise was really an icon at the senior center. She was the oldest member to routinely participate in senior center activities. Louise used to come for lunch. Before COVID, Louise would come for lunch every week. She would be picked up. She was living at the Arbors, and the transportation was provided by Don Snyder and his late wife Marlene. And Don and Louise had both taught in West Springfield at the high school. Don was in charge of the special ed department, and Louise taught in the special ed department. Louise was 105 years old. She would have celebrated her 106th birthday next month. She was born at the end of February. So I want to read her obituary, which was in the Westfield News just a few days ago. She was a remarkable woman, and I have a few seniors that over my 16 years at the center have been sort of my role models and people I consider to be my idols, and Louise Fleming was one of them. She was born on this date, she was born on February 28th, 1916 in East Hampton, Mass. She attended Cooley Dickinson Hospital School of Nursing and became a registered nurse. She also went on to obtain her bachelor's degree from Boston University and attended graduate school at Westfield State College, because then it was Westfield State College, and the University of Maryland. Louise worked for many years before World War II at Cooley Dickinson Hospital as a staff nurse, head nurse, supervisor, clinical instructor, and Red Cross instructor of nurses' aides. When World War II broke out, she enlisted as a first lieutenant in the Army Nurse Corps at Lovell Hospital and overseas in Italy. She was later promoted to captain in the Army of the United States in 1948. After the war, Louise served as educational director at the Veterans Administration, Fort Howard, Baltimore, Maryland. She also taught advanced nursing education extension courses from the University of Maryland at Fort Howard. She then became a teacher of special education for 16 years at West Springfield High School and retired in 1981. In 1989, she was chosen for the West Springfield Wall of Fame by the West Springfield Teachers and School Committee. Louise was a member of Grace Lutheran Church in West Springfield and served as its first woman president in 1979. She was a member of the Massachusetts Hampden County and Retired Teachers Association. She was married to the late Robert Fleming, and then it goes on to talk about her funeral services. So I first met Louise because she attended my side-by-side support group many years ago, and she was just this breadth of knowledge and wisdom and just an unbelievable person. People would, it's a support group where sometimes people were sharing situations that were really difficult in their lives.
Yep.
And Louise was able to, kind of put it all in perspective. I mean, she was sort of seen as our senior member. I remember when she turned 100, almost 6 years ago. Joe Mitchell came over. At the time, the mayor couldn't attend. We had flowers and a cake for her and so forth, just in the support group. And Joe Mitchell at that time was the advancement director for the city, and he brought over a citation from the mayor's office. Last year, because of COVID, when Louise turned 105, Mary Lou and I made arrangements to go over to the Arbors, which is where she was living, and we did this outdoors in on her birthday in February. Yeah, it was chilly, but they bundled her up. And we took some pictures outside on the bench in front of the arbors. And at that time, Senator Vilas had sent over a citation. So we presented the citation and, we had gifts and so forth for her. She was just a remarkable woman. And, one of the things, when I read the obituary, of course, there were, as long as I've known Louise, which is over 10 years, there were things in here that I didn't know about her. But one of the things that had come out, she was interviewed, I think about a year or two ago, for the Springfield Republican. They did a big Sunday edition on veterans and so forth. And they interviewed her. And what I didn't realize until I read that article, and she and I talked about it afterwards, when she was stationed in World War II, she was stationed in Italy. And she talked about her experience with the war, she said, was very different than most of the war nurses. It turned out that many of the American soldiers ended up marrying Italian women, and the women, then became pregnant. Yeah. And Louise's job, and so what happened was the Italian government said, listen, these are your soldiers. I mean, it's all up and up. They're getting married and everything. But the fact of the matter is that we have these women that are giving birth, and we don't have enough doctors and nurses here. Yeah. We don't have enough resources. So you got to help us out. So the United States government set up, sort of this maternity unit with using some of their nurses from, that were serving during World War II. And Louise said that was one of her major jobs during World War II, was to deliver babies to the Italian women who married the American soldiers. So she said it was actually a really pretty lovely experience and just, a very unique take on what was really going on around her in the war. So that was really interesting. She has touched so many lives and so many people, and I am just so grateful that our paths crossed and that I had an opportunity to really get to know her. Just a remarkable woman. She will be missed, but she lived a long and incredibly productive life. And again, she's one of my idols. And I brought another prop. So I have this wonderful picture. This was taken on my 60th birthday. We did a party at the senior center. Of course, I threw myself a 60th birthday party because I was officially, a member of the senior center. So at this time, Louise was 100 years old. Or might have even been 100. She was over 100 years old. So my friend Linda came up and took all the pictures for us. She came up from Virginia. And so I have this wonderful picture of me with my 60th birthday pin that someone had given me with Louise Fleming. And this one will be framed and hung in my office. So in memory.
As of Friday, I only have 9 more years to go.
Okay.
Till I turn.
Oh my gosh! Really, Pete?
For senior center.
You're getting there. You're getting there. Those days are coming, Pete. All right. It is 7:04. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. Let's take our top of the hour break.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:07. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning. Can I just say I miss JPEG Luca?
Yes.
It's been forever since he's been around here. He's been so busy with his job.
Yeah.
Since they reassigned him to the Amazon project, he's been just completely wiped out.
Yep. You know,
I haven't even talked to Jay in forever.
Oh, he is missed.
I know.
We really love him. He is missed.
I know.
He is missed. And it's funny because I think of him often. He sent me the nicest email probably about a year ago. We were about a year into the pandemic, but it was just very complimentary of, what we were trying to do over at the senior center and so forth. And it just meant so much to me that I printed it out and I hung it on my bulletin board, and it was signed by, it was signed by Jay. And I was actually kind of musing yesterday as I was, just sort of pondering some things, and I was looking at my bulletin board, and there it was, and, with Jay's name. And I thought, oh, he's just such a wonderful man, because he can always see the glass as being half full. He's just such a
By the way, I noticed on
influence.
schedule of upcoming stuff, Mark sends me his stuff early.
Yes.
You're a guest on the Mark?
I am.
What are you guys talking about?
He's going to be focusing on dementia and programming for folks with dementia. And so he's got me, and he has someone else who's. I am fascinated by what this person has done, so I don't want to steal Mark's thunder, so I'm not going to mention anything. But that should be a really interesting show. So we'll be, I guess, I don't know whether taping it, filming it, whatever we're doing next week.
February 2nd, I think is what I said.
Right. So it's going to be. So I'll do my show, then I'll run back to the senior center, have a little breakfast, and I know we can Zoom. I would rather do mine here because it's not easy for me to Zoom from my office at that hour of the day. There's a lot going on. I have a feeling we'll be interrupted 6 times. So
because we tape at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Right, and they're going to do my segment at 10.
Yeah, you'll be the first show. Yeah.
So I think I'm going to come back here and do it.
What the heck? Tina's on another show.
I am. Yes, it's kind of fun to be the guest. To switch it up and not do the lead stuff. Yeah. So stay tuned for that, folks. I wanted to remind folks it is the final days to purchase your tickets for our fundraiser. The Friends of the Westfield Senior Center is doing their Beating the Winter Blahs fundraising. This is our gift card calendar. So this we are selling tickets. We've been selling tickets throughout the month of January. They're really starting to ramp up and sell like hotcakes now because people know you got to get your tickets by the end of the day Friday. So what it is it's $5 for 25 tickets for the February calendar. And so each day in February, we will be drawing the name of one winner. So there will be 28 winners altogether. Most of the gift cards are $25. So each day there's a separate gift card, whether it's Big Y, Rockies, Giftology. We have restaurants, Applebee's, The Good Table, The Tavern. We have pharmacies and all kinds of really great prizes on here. The first day is the only day that's not a gift card. Well, actually, there are 2 days. The first day, it's a 4-pack to the Thunderbird hockey team. So 4 tickets. You don't have to use them all at once, and you can choose which game you want to go to. So it's not a specific night, so you can choose that, which is kind of fun. And then we have a special Valentine's Day surprise. So that's on Monday, February 14th. So
if you want a special treat,
so that would be kind of cool.
We could record something from Steve Forney, the former PA announcer for the Thunderbirds.
Oh, that would be kind of neat. That would be kind of cool. All right.
If you pick the winner, we could record a voicemail message, and you could play it in the phone.
Okay. Sounds
he
good.
was. He was the voice of the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right, so let's do that. So anyway, you can get your tickets two ways. One is you can come over to the Senior Center. Sandra has them at the greeter's desk. Again, it's $5 for a sheet of 25 tickets. We keep the tickets because we got to throw them in the bucket, and we keep we just get your name and your phone number, and we keep the master ticket so that when we pull the winner, we can compare it to the master one, and we will call you. We will be drawing the tickets daily. You will get a call that afternoon if you're the winner. We'll also be posting it. The Friends group will post it on their Facebook page, and I'll also have it on my meal cart so that everybody knows who won. Or if you don't want to get out of your car, if you want to get your tickets, and a lot of people have done this, if you come through the lunch line at 11:30, except tomorrow it's going to be 11:15, and you want to get tickets, you can get them that way. Just have your $5 ready. Please have exact change, and we can do it that way. So either way. Also, I want to announce that the Alzheimer's support group is online, and that always meets on the last Wednesday of the month. So they will be meeting tonight at 6 o'clock virtually. Caregivers and family members are invited to share their personal experiences and strategies for communicating with their loved ones from the comfort of their own homes. The group is hosted by Armbrook Village Senior Living and Memory Support Community. If you want to be added to the Zoom invitation list for tonight's meeting, you just need to contact the executive director of Armbrook Village. That would be our good friend Beth Cardillo, and she can be. You just email her at bcardillo, so it's CARDILLO, just the way it sounds, Beth Cardillo. So bcardillo at armbrookvillage.com. If you forget that email address, call me at the Senior Center, 562-6435, and I will give you that information. I also wanted to remind folks that the Western Mass Walkers at the Holyoke Mall have started their group. I think we've had someone from Westfield that has already joined them. This is sponsored by the West Springfield Council on Aging staff. They're at the Holyoke Mall at Ingleside on Tuesdays and Thursdays, anytime between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. You can get your indoor exercise while it's this cold outside. You just park on the upper level outside of Target, that's on the side closest to Best Buy, and enter through Target and head down to the food court. That's down in the basement. You can leave your coats and your hats and your gloves and your purses and all that stuff down there. There's COA staff from West Springfield that will be there to, keep an eye on things. It's not a guided group. It's not, so you can just come down, make a friend, meet somebody. If you come together with somebody, come down, leave your stuff, go take your walk. You can choose your own walking route and your own pace. They have coffee available from 8:30 to 9:30 in the food court, so you can sit and chat before and after you walk. It's just a great opportunity, and thank you to Sarah Long and the staff at the West Springfield Senior Center for coordinating and hosting this. It's just, we've really gotten to be close. All of the Senior Center directors in Western Massachusetts, we meet virtually every other Friday afternoon. We'll be meeting again this Friday. We've been doing it for 2 years, so we've gotten to know each other very well, and however we can help each other out. You know what, Pete? This was one of those silver linings. This will continue, I'm sure. So it's just been really great. Is Joe here, or is he?
I haven't seen him.
You haven't seen him. Okay, I will.
And he's not on Zoom.
He's not on Zoom, and he hasn't called in. So, all right, okay. My last thing is looking forward to Wednesday. All right, I will send.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's take a break. We'll play his song. Maybe that will bring him in. In the meantime, I will text him to see.
I would just call him at this point.
Okay.
Where are you?
Although I see somebody. Is that him? Hold on. Oh, that looks like him.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay. He's coming. He's on his way. So let's play his song. We're going to bring Joe in. This is Good to Be Alive, Hallelujah by Andy Grammer, right? Yeah, by Andy Grammer.
I've been grinding so long, been trying it for years. And I got nothing to show, just climbing this rope right here. And if there's a man upstairs, he kept bringing me rain. But I've been sending up prayers and something's changed. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Good to be alive right about Now.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:19. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Morning.
And joining us because it is the fourth Wednesday of the month, Joe Rouse, Director of Public Health for the City of Westfield. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
And how's it going?
It's good. I always get so confused with the cameras in there. I don't know which one's on.
Is
there a light?
They're
Pete?
all. You're
No, because when I'm running it through the software, there's no tally light.
All right. What,
It's number
am I-
2, straight
two,
on.
Straight
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
There you go. You're good.
That's
I can
always
see
the
it. I
wide
can
shot.
see. Yeah, I
Okay.
can see you looking good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
See, it's tough because now he's confused because he does the hosting thing
Exactly.
and
See,
he
that's
does the
it.
guesting thing.
Well,
Yeah.
you were right when you said before it is nice to mix it up and be a
Yeah.
guest rather than,
Yeah.
the host thing's, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
lot of work. And Pete and I were just talking about the fact that I started this gig in 2014 weekly. Yeah. It has been a lot. It has been a lot of work. People
When
don't
you got
realize.
promoted from guest host or co-host
Yeah, I was co-host
to
with
hostess with the mostest.
with Dan Knapp. That's right. That was Mike Knapp's title for me, the hostess with the mostest.
Yeah.
So here we are, 8 years later, still doing the gig.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about, Joe?
I don't know.
Can we talk about radon? Isn't
Yeah,
it like radon month or something?
Let's talk about radon.
Oh, we can
real
talk
quick.
about radon.
Sure.
Isn't it radon month or I saw something for radon, either month or week or something.
Yeah, I think I don't know what month. I don't know if it's January, February, but I do remember there was the Radon Awareness Month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good one,
Okay.
Pete. I like that. So, second leading cause of lung cancer in
Is
in the
what
country.
exactly is radon? Can we start
So,
there?
yeah, it's a gas that's produced from the naturally occurring decay of uranium in the soil or in the
Okay.
ground beneath you. And it'll come up and get in through cracks in your foundation in your house, and it depending on the level and depending on what kind of uranium deposit you're sitting on.
Okay.
And that is kind of there's deposits in the city that we've seen in specific areas, and then in other places there's just nothing. So one of the big areas that's of concern is up on the north side, kind of Prospect Street and Prospect Street Extension.
Okay.
We've gotten high levels up there. Another area is up off of Western Avenue.
Oh, okay.
Like across from the college
Yep.
on that side.
Yeah, it depends on the geology of an area.
That's right. Yeah. And so, and also it depends on, how tightened up your house is. And people always think that, the new houses are safer because they don't have like the flaws of
leaks,
time and everything. But that's not true. In fact, there's a subdivision down by me where they had to put in, when they built the houses, they had to put in a radon mitigation system as they were building the house. So what that does is it's called deep sub-slab depressurization or something. And so it's essentially them making a hole underneath, the basement, say the basement floor, pipe, pump, fan.
Oh, wow.
Extracts all of it.
Oh, my
out,
goodness.
And there's a vent, a little tiny vent that you can see usually in the roof of the house. So very effective. And that's really the most effective way to get rid of it, to mitigate the radon. So
You
not
just
that
vent it to
expensive.
air, right?
Yeah. And it's about $1,000, I think. to have
Wow,
one.
I would have thought it was a lot more than that.
Yeah, I had to have one put in my house, and it took them a half a day to do it, and it was done. And so I think the best thing for people to do, if you're concerned, is we have free test kits in the health department, and they're right out in the lobby area, sitting on the table.
So for all those free kits for all those free testing that people want that we don't have in Westfield, we do have this free test kit.
I remember doing my house, 5 or 6 years ago, I think I did my house.
Yeah.
Well, because otherwise, I think the only way you would know, you have to have a radon when you sell your house. If there's a transaction, you have to have a radon test. That's like part of the deal. But I guess otherwise, how would you know?
Right. Yeah. You can't tell. There's no way to tell. So these tests are easy. It's just, you set it up for 2-3 days.
Yep.
And it's free to mail in, has all the prepaid postage on it. You fill in your information on there, and then it goes to the lab. They send back the results. If you're more than 4 picocuries per liter, then you want to do another test, because it can be a seasonal fluctuation too.
Okay.
Of course, in the winter, when everything's tightened up and closed more, the levels could be higher.
Okay.
And you want to test in the lowest living level of your home.
Okay, so in the basement, if it's a finished basement.
If
What
it's
if
a
it's
finished-
what if it's
Well,
not
even
a
if you do
finished
your
basement?
laundry or something down there, that can be considered a living level, I would think.
Right. While you're down there.
Yeah, I think the recommendations are lowest living level, because that's where you spend the most time.
Yeah.
But if it were me, and I do have a half-finished basement, I would still want to check in the basement to see what the level is, especially if I can get a free test kit.
Absolutely.
So why not? I'll test the basement, I'll test the first floor.
there
and
you
that's
go.
it. See where we're at.
And being such an old city too, there's a lot of basements that are rock foundations. There's cinder block foundations that are very porous.
Right.
And there's a lot of dirt floors out there in
You
the
know
city.
what? I was just going to
A lot
say
of
that,
dirt
Pete,
floors.
because we were doing some house looking a few weeks ago and saw a house in Westfield that was built in 1850, and the basement was a dirt floor.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't know they still had those. I didn't know that was.
Talk to
even-
Bob Plass about it.
Yeah,
He's-
exactly. His
Yeah,
house is old.
yeah, for sure, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, that's a good one, Pete.
So
Thanks
now,
for
do
bringing that up.
people? How do people get this tech? Do they call ahead to the health department,
Nope,
Joe,
we
or
have
they can
plenty
just
of them. We
stop
just
by?
leave them out on the table, and we keep replenishing them when they
Okay.
start to run low. So just come in, get your kit. It's all the instructions, very easy to
That's what I was
follow.
going to say. Like,
Yeah.
You got to mail
what
it
is-
to a
what is the
lab.
okay.
And I think it's a self-addressed stamped envelope. It's already paid for, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, you can't make it any easier.
No.
So let me ask you this, Joe. You started by saying that something about lung cancer. So now go back to that. Now that we know what we're talking about, we know about radon, we know how to test for it. So what are the results if you're sitting on you're living in a house maybe for many years and high radon levels? What could result from that?
So it depends on a couple things. First of all, your time of exposure. So this isn't an acute exposure situation. It's not like if you walk into a place where there's 50 picocuries per liter of radon, which is like 10 times more than it should be. You're not going to get lung cancer automatically. This is because you're living in a place for years and years. It is a Class A carcinogen, just like tobacco smoke.
Okay.
So it's in the same category. Yeah. So it's a combination of years of exposure and level of radon. So if we had one up in the Western Avenue area that was way over like 25, and so that was, and it just kept coming up.
And what are the normal levels, Joe?
So it's 4. You're
Okay.
looking for 4 picocuries per liter or less.
Or
If
less.
you get over that, because these are short-term tests, they recommend you do another short-term test, but not immediately right after.
Yep.
And and then if you get another high result from that, if you really want to know, we don't have them, but there are long-term tests as well, so you can use those to get a bigger picture of what's going on. But yeah, so it's those years of exposure. And like I said, the one on Western Ave, I think it was his kids had like a game room downstairs, and they spent tons of time down there, and they were little.
Yeah.
And and his levels were through the roof. And so I remember years later, I saw him. He said, "Oh my God, thank you for making me figure that out, because who knows what would happen." My kids were down there for 10 years playing games every day for hours and hours. So it's worth checking it out, because it is, like I said, the second leading cause of lung cancer in the U.S.
Boy, that's absolutely amazing. And no, there's nothing, like if you have mold or something, you can see it, but there's nothing that you can see, right, with radon. I mean, it's just, it's a gas. So you don't, the only way to know the level is to test it.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the health department is located at City Hall, for those who are saying like, okay, where do I get one of these kits? So at City Hall, second floor, right? You guys are up on the second floor. There is an elevator, if that would be helpful for folks. And you don't have to call ahead, but you are open. When's your office open, Joe? Generally.
That door is open for the lobby usually 8 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Perfect. Thank you for that. Yeah. Good one, Pete. Thank
Good thing
you.
I knew what I was talking about, Pete.
Hey, listen, I know what your playlist is. So I can,
you know,
All right.
Board of Health. How long have you been the director now, Joe?
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
Yeah.
And then, but before that, I mean, you've worked for, how long have you been at the health
I
department?
was there 24 years. I've been there
24 years. Yeah, Joe, Pete and I were just talking about that this morning, like how long we've been at, because I just celebrated I'm starting my 17th year with the city. January 3rd was my anniversary date. And Pete, how long have you worked for the city? 20 something?
Well, coming up on 22 in March.
22. And Joe's the senior member here with 24 years.
Never thought I'd hear that said.
I know. It's
a
long time.
Oh, no.
It's a long time. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we have some exciting news. We're going to throw it out there. We're going to start talking about this after the break. So let's take a break. It is 7:29. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15 in honor of the birthday of Andrew Ridgeley from Wham. I'm going to wake you up with this song. It's Wake Me Up Before You Go. We'll be back.
You put the boom boom into my heart. You send my soul sky high when your loving starts. A jitterbug into my brain. It goes to bang 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 till my feet do the same. But something's bugging, something ain't right. My best friend told me what you did last night. You left me sleeping in my bed. I was dreaming, but I should have been with you instead. Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. tide. We'll go dancing tomorrow night. It's cold out there, but it's warm in bed. They can dance, we'll stay home instead. Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me up before you go. I don't wanna miss it when you hit that high. Wake me up before you go. 'Cause I'm not planning on going solo. Wake me up before you go. Take me dancing tonight. Wake me up before you go. Don't you dare to leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Take me dancing, boom, 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 boom. Oh, 'cause I'm not planning on going solo. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here. Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England. Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:34. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses on WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm joined this morning by Joe Rouse, Director of Public Health. Good morning again,
Good morning.
Joe. So I do have a couple of announcements before we get into our big announcement. Just a few things that I want to mention happening at the Senior Center. Of course, we've been getting flooded with phone calls. We are doing the AARP Tax Assistance Program again this year. This is a huge program, and we have to, because of COVID, because of all the protocols, because of what's coming down from the AARP National Office, the state office, and the regional office, and the Mass Association of Councils on Aging, and the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. So we have lots of guidelines and protocols. So many, in fact, that a lot of the senior centers have opted out of the program this year, just saying there are way too many hoops for us to jump through. But we have not, because we just feel like this is a really worthwhile program, and we literally assist hundreds of people with their taxes through this program. We still have some appointments left, not a lot. They're going quickly. So if you would like to be considered, and we are prioritizing, so if you would like to be considered for the program this year, it's a drop-off program as it was last year. So there's no in-person taxes being done. You'll drop off the materials. There's, again, a lot of, hoops to jump through, but we did it successfully last year, and I think we helped about 200 people. This year, we're on track to help over 300. Wow. So, yeah, it's a big program. Give us a call at the Senior Center at 562-6435. You will be directed to a special voicemail that we set up. It's the tax assistance voicemail. You're going to leave your name, your phone number, and your address on that voicemail. Just say you'd like to be considered for the program, and we will call you back within a 2-week period to set that up for you. So, again, I don't anticipate that we're going to have a whole lot of appointments left. So if you're interested, don't wait until the last minute, because you probably won't get one. Also, as a reminder, this Friday, the Side by Side support group will be meeting, and that is a group. It's kind of an eclectic group. If you have healthcare issues, your own, if you're a caregiver, if you are just, experiencing grief and loss. I mean, there are all kinds of things that people are going through. The support group we've been meeting for the 16 years that I've been there. We meet once a month on the fourth Friday of the month. We had to change the time. It's 9 to 10:30 in the morning, and you do have to call us in advance. Just let me know that you're coming, because we do have room capacity limits, and it also depends on how I set up the room, depending on how many folks are coming in. So if you're just a little overwhelmed with the stresses of what's going on around you, please feel free to join us. We'll be meeting this Friday. Just give us a call at the Senior Center or let us know that you'll be coming. It's 562-6435. And there's no long-term commitment here, folks. If you are just, sometimes we'll have people that just come for one time, 2 times. I've had people come for, 6 months or a year and then say to me, okay, you know what? I feel like I've gotten over the hump and I'm good for now, and that's fine too. And then I have other people that have been coming for, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So whatever, I facilitate that group, and we're happy to welcome new people, men and women, either way. All right, my guest this morning is Joe Rouse, Director of Public Health. So Joe and I have been working on a project together for several months. Mm-hmm. We're almost at the finish line. We are so close. Everything's ready. The office is ready. We cleaned it up. The technology department has come. The computer is ready. The phone is ready. So let's talk about what we're doing, Joe, because it's going to be on the front page of my newsletter in February, right, even though the person who this affects said she tried her whole life to stay off the front page. But she decided that in this case it was okay. Right. So, Joe, why don't you let folks know what we've been working on?
All right. Yeah. So it actually all started when I came over to see you for something. I think we were talking about maybe it was COVID. Oh, when we came in and we looked at like
all the rooms.
Yeah, room capacities and then I didn't know because I had never gone down that hallway, but I saw you had a nurse's office and it was empty.
Yep.
And I went, whoa, wait a minute. What made me start to think about how you have, the police department, Mark Carbonose, that has some office hours there. And I thought, this is one of these things that's a great opportunity to reach out, because we kind of got buried with COVID and off track, but for, the last several years trying to reach out more into the community, be more proactive with stuff, and not be just so responding to the disease du jour or the disaster du jour or whatever, and to just get out there, get, more service basically. So, perfect opportunity where we have Evelyn is her name, Evelyn Bristol, and she's currently in the health department, full-time registered nurse, and she just has that way about her, that personality where one-on-one she's really, really good with people. She's very very understanding. She she's not, I know there's a type of nurse that people think that they're maybe a little, I don't know, rough around the edges from
brusque.
Some that I've seen
Yep.
in my personal life. But anyway, she's great. Personality's going to fit. People are going to love her. She's going to love it there. And she's going to be able to provide services that are, desperately needed for your population. Yeah. Because, who wants to go to the doctor all the time to have your blood pressure checked and all these other things? So,
and a lot of what the nurse and the nurse has done in the past at the senior center, even at the old senior center when we, had a card table set up in the corner, is, education, is explaining things to people so that, they heard something from their doctor, or the doctor, gave them a diagnosis, even something like diabetes. Okay, you now have diabetes. Well, they don't have a lot of time in the doctor's office to explain, well, what that means for you and how does that change your lifestyle? What are some of the things that you need to do? So I have found in the past that a lot of what our nurse has been able to do when we've had nursing services in the past is be able to explain that to people, answer their questions. Just take the time, take the 15 minutes to explain things, answer questions, maybe answer questions about medication. Why did the doctor put me on this medication? Is it really important that I have this? Those kinds of things. And of course, monitoring things like, blood pressure, glucose levels, and things like that. So we have, in the past, we've had nurses that were gifts from, we had a nurse that was a gift from Trinity, and and Noble Visiting Nurse and Hospice years ago, and then Bay State Noble Hospital. And of course, everything fell apart when COVID hit, and everything kind of unraveled. And so that position has been empty, and we've had people that have called us and, is the nurse back yet? Do you have a nurse yet? And in some cases, Joe, it's even just something they don't even need to see the person in person. They just have questions they want to ask over the phone, maybe to say, should I come in and see you? But, and it's been really hard to say to people, we're working on it, we're working on it, we're working on it. And so I think this is just a great partnership. We're looking forward. I mean, the staff is ready. Evelyn's name is up on the board, the in-out board, just so we know when she's there. And so we're hoping that we can pull it all together in February and get it over the finish line and get her settled in.
It'll happen. So. So the other good thing about it, too, is being able to administer vaccines. So maybe we won't ever have to do a clinic again, right?
Yeah.
So by appointment, flu vaccinations, she can do that real quick and easy.
Yeah.
You don't have the rigmarole of the whole procedure,
That's really interesting because I've been working with Evelyn on, because I know the flu vaccine has to get ordered way in advance. So, we were looking at the numbers that we did, this past year and high dose versus low dose and so forth, which I used to do with Deb Mulvena when we, set up for the clinics. But it's interesting that you say that, Joe, because I thought the exact same thing. I'm thinking, well, do we need to do big clinics or can we do this on a individual, set up an appointment with Evelyn kind of thing? So we'll figure that out. Maybe do, one clinic where we bring in more people and, have an hour or two and do it, but and the rest we can just kind of do as you come in. But
yeah, she's going to be there pretty much full time. So that's going to be her office.
Yes.
And the one at City Hall, hopefully I'll be able to get a third nurse position in there to help us do even more outreach in the community, like health fairs and things like this. And Evelyn, so in the time where there's flu vaccine available to be given, I mean, she still has some health department duties to do.
Right, exactly, of course.
But, you can allocate many hours of the day for appointments for flu vaccine. If we want to get into shingles vaccine, all these other things that people actually need, and you won't have to go to your doctor. So
I know, which would be, So we're really looking forward to having her. So you and I we got to get this thing across the finish line here, Joe. And let's make this happen.
I know.
And that, so that will be in the February newsletter. I sent a copy to, copy that front page to Evelyn. She was laughing about it, but we're really excited. And how long has Evelyn been with the health department? She's been there a few years.
Yeah, I think maybe three or four. Yeah, maybe 3 years.
Okay, that sounds about right to
She's
to me as well.
communicable disease nurse. So
okay,
that was,
wow, awesome.
And so she came in just before COVID.
I was just going to say, oh my God, the timing.
Yeah, the time wasn't that perfect. We got the new communicable. We've never had one of those before. Public health nurses and nurses that have served in hospitals just as general nursing services, but to have a communicable disease one show up literally like 6 months before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And now it's just time for her to move on to bigger and better things.
Oh, well, we're excited to have her. All right, it is 7:45. Let's take a short break. We have managed to get through most of this show.
Don't say it.
We are gonna finish up just doing a little update on kind of what's happening and just as a wrap up. But it's nice that it wasn't the complete focus of the show this time.
And it's not really all that bad.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So some stuff to talk about.
Can you stop for a minute?
Yes. What?
Because I don't have the song that you want from the artist that you want.
You don't? Do you have the song, but not by that artist?
I have it by Eric Clapton. I believe it's the same song.
Well, we're going to find out. Is it the same title?
Yes.
Okay. So the song is Louise. This is in memory of Louise Fleming, who passed away this way. Did you know Louise?
I got a Linda Ronstadt version. That might be the right.
You can do it. You can try the Linda Ronstadt version. Louise Fleming was 105. She would have been 106 next month, but a very vibrant, active member of the senior center right up until COVID hit. And in fact, we ended up opening up the dining room just for 2 weeks in August, very briefly. She was there. Yeah. Both, she was there because she used to come every Wednesday for lunch. Just an amazing person, my role model, one of my idols. So we're gonna listen to Louise, and I'm not sure who the artist. I was gonna have Dean Martin sing it, but hopefully this is the version, and it's gonna be the Linda Ronstadt version. Pete?
Yes.
All right, let's go for it.
Where they all say Louise was not half bad. It was written on the walls and window shades.
deceiver, don't believe her, that's her trait. Sometimes a bottle of perfume, flowers and maybe some lace. Men brought Louise 10-cent trinkets. Their intentions were easily traced. Yes, and everybody knew at times she cried. How about women like Louise, will they get by? Yes, and everybody thought it kind of sad when they found Louise in her room. They'd always put her down below their kind. Still some cried when she died this afternoon. Louise rode home on the mail train. Somewhere to the south I heard it said. Too bad it ended so ugly. Too bad she had to go this way. Ah, but the wind is blowing cold tonight. Well, good night, Louise, good night.
Underwriting is brought to you by Boise Cascade Distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardy siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com, they are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio 89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. Pete, am I on? No, I'm not on. Pete, Pedro.
Your headphones aren't on.
Oh, that would be the reason why. There we are. Too much stuff going on here.
Right.
We had a surprise visit, an early visit from Harry Rock, so keeping us all updated, talking about what's going on. I'm thinking to myself, my mic's not on. Yes, it is. My headphones weren't.
He got you flustered there.
I was all.
Yeah.
I got all. There was too much going on. Overstimulated. Okay. Good morning. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My guest this morning is Joe Rouse, Director of Public Health. And Joe, we have managed to go until 7:51 without really using the COVID word.
Right.
But we do need to do, we just have a 6 or 7 minutes left. And, it's nice that this was not the first thing we talked about and it wasn't the only thing that we talked about. But, let's kind of just do a little bit of a wrap up of the show today and talk about where are we exactly with what's going on with COVID.
And that fact that it wasn't the focus primarily needs to be that way. This is where we are right now. So we're starting to see with a lot of the home test kits, the number that we report out now weekly for new confirmed cases is horribly skewed.
Right, and I thought the Westfield News did a nice job in one of the thousands of articles I've been reading about this, of talking about that. And I don't remember which edition it was within the last few days, of you saying that the numbers, you're not even going to really report those numbers weekly because they can't be accurate, because when people are doing home test kits, that information doesn't get to you or the state necessarily.
Right. And it's going to be exacerbated by the schools and the students and the staff doing the home testing kits, which they will have to do weekly.
Yeah.
So not even when they're symptomatic, that's going to be a regular thing that they have to do. And they'll report to the school if they get a positive, but that's not going to be reported to us.
Okay.
Nor will it the schools may report it to DESE, but not to Department of Public Health. So with that, and I'll just tell you right now, the status is, and today's is going to be my last report with those metrics in there. So there isn't going to be any more total number of new confirmed cases. We'll try and keep a track of the deaths still, which has been 0, I think, the past couple of weeks, and no more percentage of school-age kids, because we won't be able to figure that out.
Now, Joe, who tracks hospitalizations?
Nobody.
Nobody does.
No.
Okay.
It's a very, very hard metric to get a hold of, because it's just scattered all over the place. And it would have to be hospitalizations based on COVID, either positive or symptoms of. And I know everybody thinks that's the one you really want to look at, because you can gauge what's the severity of COVID right now. With this variant, are you going to wind up in the hospital if you get it? If not, what are we worried about? That's what a lot of people think. But the hospitalizations is horribly hard to get an accurate figure. So where we're at now is our numbers are going to pretty much plateau this week, same as they were last week. So that's good. They're not going one way or the other drastically. But again, that number and new confirmed cases is going to be inaccurate. It's going to be misleading, and it's no longer a metric we can use as a barometer to gauge where we're at, because it's just not going to be representative. So it's a waste to put that out there. Yep. There'll still be a report that I'll do, like an update, status report sort of thing every week. But that's going to be more of a narrative, like kind of way we're talking about it, and not so much rigid with the numbers, because the numbers are with the at-home tests, like I said, they're not going to be accurate. There is also going to be a link to the state website where they keep track of what they know about for Westfield and all the other communities in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So you can click, if you really want to get a number, for whatever reason, you go click on that.
Okay.
It might be a week behind, but still, all along this whole time, our number and their number has been pretty accurate.
Okay.
And very close to the same. So I'm not saying we're out of the woods yet by any means, but, we are getting to a point where, and the governor in his press conference, he was very adamant about, here we are with the, contact tracing is pretty much going to fall by the wayside. The state has already disbanded their collaborative. Right. We are going to, other than the schools, and once they get their test kits in, they're going to stop contact tracing too. Then we're not going to do that.
Now, for the schools, Joe, is every student going to be getting? How are they doing the home test kits with the schools?
It's for first of all, the parents have to opt in.
Right. Okay.
And then when they do, they will be provided with test kits so that they can test on a regular basis, not just to asymptomatic.
Now, if a family, let's say, has 3 kids in the schools, obviously you have to test individuals. Right. So each student is that how that works?
I believe so.
Okay.
This is all still,
I know. That's all new. Right, I know.
I even talked to Stefan yesterday, and he's even like, well, we can't start the program until we get the kits in hand, and I don't have the kits in hand. So we're going to wait and see. Okay. Again, fluid, everything changes. So, but
there's that word.
Yeah. So the contact tracing is going to kind of fall by the wayside, and that's not a bad thing. It just means that we're getting to a point where we're going to focus more attention on the increasing vaccination percentage, especially in Westfield. So,
and you know what I heard? It was interesting, Joe, because I did hear a statistic on National Public Radio last night when I was on my way home about the booster rate, which is actually relatively low. That's not just in Westfield or Massachusetts. That's
Right.
nationwide. And so I know the Executive Office of Elder Affairs has really been pushing the councils on aging to be pushing the boosters. And I have to be honest with you and say it wasn't one of my big focus areas because I feel like I'm drowning in all of these end of year reports and all of these deadlines that I have for January 31st. But in my budget and everything else. But now with getting all of that settled down, I really feel like that is something that we need to start paying attention to.
Yep.
So.
And there are groups out there that will do that. It doesn't have to be, you can contract with somebody.
Yep.
And we're going to start doing that too. So when there's another round of funding that's coming in from the state for vaccination efforts and COVID programs that you haven't already implemented. So that money could be used for vaccine clinics where we can contract with somebody.
Perfect.
And then, we'll see how that goes. But that's really, like the governor was saying, that was really his emphasis was get vaccinated. Let's not sit here and talk about, contact tracing and at-home kits. Just get vaccinated. That's the thing that you need to do. So if there's vaccine hesitancy, we'll work on that. We'll make it more readily available, so it's not like going into the back of some drugstore room jabbed by somebody you don't know. So that's going to be our focus, and we're going to step away. You have to transition because COVID right now is not the same as it was a year ago.
Yeah.
And I know it's easy for people to just have that knee-jerk reaction. I mean, sometimes when people get tested positive, they're terrified.
Yeah.
And they're calling me saying, "Oh my God, what do I do?" And I was like, "Whoa, take a deep breath.
Take a breath.
First of all,
Yep.
this is not the same as it was in the beginning. Things are different now. And by the way, there's treatments. You're not going to, even if you wind up in the hospital.
Yep.
Okay, so
Anyway.
Anyway.
All right, Joe Rouse, Director of Public Health. Now, Joe, do you have your show next week?
That's right, everybody.
Yeah.
Next week, Wednesday, 8 a.m.
First Wednesday of the month is the Joe Show. Do you have your guests lined up?
I am going to be working on, hopefully, somebody from the Red Cross. I want to talk about
that would be awesome.
Blood donations, yeah.
That would be awesome. All right, Joe Rouse, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the update. Thank you for the gift of Evelyn when she shows up on our doorstep because we're looking forward to that.
Good.
Folks, Harry Rock is on deck. He's got Mayor Mike McCabe as his guest who will be Zooming in this morning, so don't change the channel. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. Have a great week.
Stay healthy, my friends.
There you go.